Today we've got Hope Beryl-Green. She's got an amazing story, amazing guest today. I'm super excited to have you on, and it's great to meet you. And I'm really excited to hear your story. So go ahead and tell us what your background is and why you expose what you do and why you tell your story. I want to hear everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, for giving me a place to share my story. I'd say in probably the last 6 months, maybe not even 6 months, since actually President Trump got back into office, it really has provided a lot more opportunities for me to share my story. I actually shared a portion of my story in the Senate with President Trump's first term. And it was just an amazing time. The Lord really showed up, and I could tell and sense at that time that He was beginning to really crack the foundation of sex slavery in this country. And President Trump has been a key figure in that. Of course, we all know what happened after that. Biden got into office. I do think the Lord ended up using that to wake people up to see the level of evil that's going on. Of course, Biden is a trafficker. He trafficked me, and he actually all of the hundreds of thousands of children that were brought across the border. That was done intentionally. It was planned um, a long time ago. And to kind of go into my story a little bit, I was actually born into MK Ultra, government-sponsored mind control and sex slavery. Um, my story is similar to Kathy O'Brien and many others that are coming forward, and I'm just really grateful that there's starting to be a platform for us to speak the truth about what we went through. But really, there's not a time that I remember that I wasn't trafficked, that I wasn't raped and tortured and hurt. Really, from infancy, the Lord has shown me since getting free, had even taken me back to memories in the womb. Um, they know how the brain works, and they know ways to torment and torture a child, whether it's with electrocution or just terrifying um, and do a lot of the foundational programming in the time from infancy to 5 years old, just to really set that programming and have complete control over you. So they're really, today in this country, there are more slaves than there have ever been throughout all of history. Um, and the sad thing is that people are not aware, and unfortunately, especially that the church is not aware, because the it's so deep and dark. A lot of times, I think out of fear, people don't want to see the depth of the capability of these people in what they do. But in the Word, it says that Satan comes as an angel of light, and even more so, his followers will be angels of light. So it's not something that you just look at and you say, "Oh, those people are traffickers." Um, a lot of statistics lately have been showing that it's very educated and well-off people that you would never suspect. My main traffickers looked like a normal middle-class family. Um, they were teachers and coaches and in the small Baptist church in Kentucky. Um, but what you saw on the outside was completely different than what was going on behind the scenes. I was being trafficked in the school. I was being trafficked in the church. um, I was very much programmed to go into the church. And when I say program, they deliberately uh, try to split and fragment the mind through extreme trauma. Um, God gave us a gift of being able to kind of separate our mind so that we can endure and that we can get through circumstances, whether it's a car accident or a loss or abuse. But in this situation, these people want to cause those fractures of your mind on purpose so that they can manipulate and control you as much as possible. So they really looked like a perfect family. I never had anybody ask me if I was okay. I was very suicidal, very depressed my whole life, but nobody took the time to even ask me if I was okay. They just assumed that it had nothing to do with what was going on in the house that I lived in. So, at the age of 5, I was actually signed over, like signed papers to Epstein to traffic me to government officials, royalty, Hollywood, media, things like that. Like I said, I was 5 years old, so the narrative that they have put out in the mainstream media is not the full story. I mean, it's hideous that he was raping, trafficking, abusing teenage girls, but it went a lot deeper. Um, it went a lot younger. So it was very underground what he was doing. Um, Epstein Island actually was used before he even owned it to traffic children, and there was a lot of underground tunnels, as well as a lot of military and underground tunnels throughout the U.S. And this is specifically designed to train really sex slaves, MK Ultra, in every city and every state to take down this country from within. Just like President Trump, he said, they're trying to take it down from within. This is another step, and this is another plan that they have, which included all of these children that were brought across the border to make them sex slaves, MK Ultra, so that they can really infiltrate the U.S. more. Um, but the amazing thing about it is they never bet on God being bigger than their plans. They are extremely prideful, and they think that whatever they do will be accomplished, and they will never be found out. But we're seeing a major shift, a golden age. Time is now for sex slaves, for MK Ultra, to be set free. And part of that, we were just in California at the Rev 17 conference, and just um, the immense support and people that want to see the truth and want to know fully what I've endured and what others are enduring currently was really, really overwhelming. And there was over $2 million actually raised for Safe House, Piece of Heaven. So I was very, very grateful. It was really like a 360 for me during my healing journey. We'll go back a little bit. I want to finish up my story, but around the age of 19, I was being trafficked that whole time, being tortured and ritualized. A lot of it's based in satanic ritual abuse. Around 19, my memories my programming, all of that began to just spill out. I was literally, all that they had programmed into me was starting to break down. So they began to take me to Christian hospitals pretty much around the US and reprogram me. So I think it's really important for people to know that with MK Ultra, they want to control every mountain of society and culture, and one of those is the church. So they infiltrate, whether it's conferences or churches, ministries, deliberately to take those ministries and churches and things down because they want to be in control. And so I was being reprogrammed. Like I said, a lot of torture, a lot of electrocution, just games with my mind continually. I go into a lot of my programming in specific detail in my book, To Tell the Truth. It really, the Lord wanted me to write that so that other survivors could see it and they would be able to say, you know what, I'm not alone. This happened to me as well. And so he's really reminded me that over and over. There was a lot of rejection when I came out with a book, but I had to obey the Lord. And even people are close to me were like, "Are you sure you want to put all that in there?" But the Lord said it's like a belt of truth. It needs to be like a safety belt for people. We're going into a storm or going into a car accident. Would they want to put their seatbelt on? And it really is to kind of wake up the church and help them to be able to deal with all the things that are being exposed currently. So, like I said, around the age of 19, my programming began to break down. And so they had a plan for me. There was a lot of ministries that were making some progress with MK Ultra SRA survivors, and they chose one of those. They tried to infiltrate all of them, but they sent four of us at the same time to really take down this ministry because it was a threat to them. And I want you to know, it's not a conscious thing that happens. You don't consciously go into something to take down a ministry. You don't consciously do that. You're not going there with that intent. They use your Jesus heart against you, and really there's no other choice. You have no choices. Either these people die or you do what we say. But God. So this couple prayed for me and really gave me a place to live, gave me food and love. I've never been loved before in my entire life. I was around 25 at this time. And all of that love, all of that ministry and prayer, and Jesus just really speaking to me truth about all the lies and all of the programming. After 7 years of going back and forth with being tortured by these people, I actually ended up getting free at the age of 31. So praise the Lord. I don't believe anybody can get freedom without Jesus. I call him Honest Jesus because he doesn't lie. With the Illuminati and the deep state, whatever you want to call them, they do take Jesus and try to twist who he is to us as children. And so they would dress up like Jesus and rape us, put loudspeakers in the room where we were being tortured and say it was God speaking. Really, to have a foundation of you're evil, you don't know what you do from moment to moment. So you are continually doing evil. So they really twisted the narrative to make me feel and make all the victims feel like we're evil and we need them. We need them to control and manipulate and torture us. So that's deeply, deeply ingrained in us. But like I said, you know, the truth will set you free, and all of the memories and all of the torture and the pain that I went through, the Lord really had to bring it out and specifically layer by layer minister to all the parts of my mind and bring truth so that I could see the truth, that I could be free, and that I deserved to be free, and that He wanted me to be free. I didn't deserve what was going on with them. So that's kind of a condensed version of, you know, my story. I did do, once I've gotten free, you know, I've been free for 21 years now. And, you know, once I got free, I did do a criminal and a civil suit against Epstein. Um, you know, there are high level governmental figures and in many different areas that are continually trying to cover up what happened, what is still happening. And that's what I want to stress to people. There are still children that are being trafficked, that are being tortured, that are being hurt by all of those involved with Epstein and really throughout this country. So that is the main reason, that is the main goal, that is my sole focus of telling my story so that the Lord can raise up people to provide a safe place, whether it's in their home or with something like Piece of Heaven. Um, every person has something that they can give. The Lord will show you if you just ask Him. He'll give you insight. Prayer is extremely important in getting these children free. But I just, that is my main goal and focus is for the children to get free. I have people that I know right now, can see their faces, that, you know, it's like the most painful thing um, that I experience is knowing they are still enslaved, they are still being hurt, and there's not a way out for them right now. So I work a lot with Daniel Duval, Bride Ministries International. They do raise up coaches, ministers to help MK Ultra victims and survivors to be set free and to be able to live a genuine, full life. And, you know, I have really pressed hard into healing for, like I said, the last 21 years. And the Lord has done a really deep work in me. I'm not perfect, never will be perfect. Still have my triggers. Still have times where something, you know, will come back. I remember one thing specifically on, and maybe this will help another survivor if they're listening. Um, but I remember specifically on the flight back to out to California to speak at the Rev conference for Peace of Heaven. Um, we got on a flight and the airplane had no air conditioner, and it was intensely hot. Plus, the fact women know what it's like to have hot flashes. We have that on top of it, and So I was feeling a lot of anxiety and really flashing me back to when they would leave me intentionally in the sun, and I would get heat exhaustion and really just being left completely alone, not being able to breathe. Um, and Jesus just showed me he brought sprinklers, and he was just letting me run through the sprinklers and putting ice on my neck, and just saying, what, I'm never going to leave you. And you know in that moment, all of the anxiety went away. I was able to breathe fine. I was okay. And he is ready, willing, and able to bring healing to every single person. He really is the only answer to ending slavery. His love really can conquer anything, rescue a little girl out of 31 years of slavery. So, um, thank you. I'm really grateful that I met Leslie and really had an opportunity to be around other patriots and other people fighting for freedom.
Yeah, it's I enjoy it. I have fun doing it, and if you do something, you might as well embrace it and enjoy it. It's not a chore to me. It's my duty. I feel like it's, when you have your calling, when God tells you what you need to do, it's not something you really have to logically think about. You just follow it and do it, and look at a piece of heaven. I mean, that was just an idea. I interviewed Pastor Brian, I don't know, maybe it was 6 months ago, and he was just like, we're going to do this. And he didn't have it all figured out. It was just like, we're going to do it. And he knew, like, I could just tell, like, he's going to get this done. And I can't believe that you guys, I can believe, but it's still amazing that
Yes.
over $2 million got raised over what, 2-3 days? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
Over $2 million.
Over $2 million to purchase that juvenile hall facility, to be able to, like, when these people get rescued, they don't have a place to go, really. So now they do, and it's amazing. I mean, it was just following God's will, and look, I mean, I'm not going to say it was easy, but I mean, amazing things can be accomplished if you just believe and you listen and you follow what your calling is. And we all do things in our own ways, as long as you're listening to that message and following through with it. I wanted to go back just a little bit, because you covered a lot of stuff. And I remember when Trump first got in his first office, he organized, and I might get a couple of the details wrong, but I believe he organized like 5 task forces. And I believe it was within the first 30 days, he had saved more children and busted more traffickers than Obama did in 8 years. And I was like, wow, I mean, if he could do that in, I don't know if it was 30 or 60 days, I might be getting the details wrong, but it was just, and then you look at, okay, first of all, you look at Biden sniffing kids, you know what I mean? I mean, like, if you look at some of the parents and that are around there, and then like he's sniffing their kids, they're like, what the, I mean, like, it is just so creepy, and just over and over and over again. I think it's something with pheromones, where these people like that, these pedophiles, they have to sniff. It's like a dog sniffing a butt or something. I mean, it's just like instinctual for them, but man, it's creepy. And then you look at what they did to Trump when they said, oh, he's putting kids in cages and stuff like that, and he's separating. Well, a lot of these kids that were coming over it wasn't their parents that was coming over the border. And so they would do a DNA test, and within a couple days, you would know if it was actually the parents or not. A lot of times it was not the parents. So then the Biden administration got rid of that, to where it just kind of opened up the floodgates for child trafficking. And I also wanted to say, have you been down in these tunnels that you were talking about?
Yes. I was going to share a little bit about that. With Epstein, all of the small children were kept underground. So there was a lot of underground tunnels on the island, and, other, like I said, other places throughout the country. But what he would do, he would actually keep us in, it was like horse stalls, and have us chained up, and he would come around and rape us. And then he would have, it was like a line of people. And, I was a child, so I don't know, I didn't know who was who. But you can tell if somebody's important or royalty or, in government, military. So all of those kind of people really just to really observe his product or the product that they had created, because we each had a different role. Like for me, it was Pretty Pink Princess, and they had um, glass walls where we would have to perform behind them as they walked by, to really see what worked, what didn't work. If your mind would stay in denial, just making sure that you stayed in the programming that they had done to you. So it was very continual. I went back and forth, to with him. Like I said, my main programmers were in Kentucky, and that was the main um, what my main programming was. Uh, but yeah, it is extremely so much darker, deeper than what people realize. He was doing a lot of DNA testing, so there was a lot of um, infant parts that they kept, and it looked like a cryogenic freezer. But they were doing all kinds of testing on those babies, and so it was a whole lot more going on there, as far as the government and scientifically trying to find different ways to mix DNA and things like that.
Wow, that's wild. That is absolutely insane. Okay, so I don't even know if you want to talk about this or if you were exposed to any of this, but a lot of people talk about adrenochrome and things like that. And they kind of put it in your face. I forget what that Fear and Loathing Las Vegas, and they talk about doing adrenochrome, and it's hard. I mean, there's so much psyop out there. It's like I haven't been personally exposed to any of this. So, but I mean, I watched a video. I have a video of a 9-year-old boy from the UK who talks about basically it's a 9-year-old kid, and he's confessing to what they do. And he says every Wednesday in the church kitchen, they cut babies' heads off, drain the blood into a collection container, and they drink the blood. And he talks about I forget what their social services is called over there, but he said basically like people that can't afford to have their kids sell their kids off into this anonymous system where you have no way of tracking the kids and stuff. And then every Wednesday they would cut a baby's head off, drain the blood, and drink the blood. And it's like I had a hard time thinking that this 9-year-old was that good of a liar. But I don't know. I mean, I got to ask, because you're actually the first person I've talked to that's been actually involved in this kind of stuff. With everything I've heard is hearsay. So
Yeah, and I think it's hard for people to fathom the level of evil. I mean, it's beyond. It's beyond. But these people have given their entire being over to Satan. So they're inhabited completely by Satan. They really became Satan's child. I mean, that's the choice. They made it by choice. Um, that's what they've done. So there's really not a limit to the evil. Yeah, reality is they do dismember people and drain their blood, especially, I definitely did see that as a child. Um, and, there's a lot of cannibalism that goes on. Um, it's really sad, but they do a lot of things where they like fillet a person or face and take it off and put it on another child, just to cause torment and terror. That's the whole point of it. But they get that they feel like they get demonic power for torturing kids and taking their blood and doing all these hideous things, that they get power and control from it, which is disgusting and evil. And people need to wake up to what's going on, because if we don't, then these children are going to continue to be tortured. Thank God that I did get free, but I don't want other children to have to go through the length of time that I was tortured and hurt. I want them to have a way out. And, you know, as we're seeing, a lot of the things that people are saying were conspiracy theory are being proven true. And the same will be true with this. There's more and more um, people getting free, sharing the same stories, but they've never met before. So, how can all of these people be saying the same thing and never met? The possibility of that, it's just not a possibility that you, and why would you, why would a 9-year-old boy, or why would me, I mean, why would we put ourselves in a position to be called crazy, to be rejected, to go through pain and suffering? Because believe me, it's not for money. Nothing. Like I said, I went through a criminal and civil suit. They did not acknowledge my story in any way, shape, or form. They said it did not fit the narrative that they wanted to fit. Had a lawyer for 2 years, very involved with that, was very excruciating. And the last day before I was supposed to give my deposition, they dropped me. So I had to do that on my own without representation. So they will go to any lengths to try to silence, to try to make you look crazy. They would show up at where I worked, at my husband's job, at church that I would go to. They have really put in a lot of time and energy, really 24/7. They're completely committed to destroying this country, to tormenting children. And the whole point of why they do that is because they hate God. So, what better way to get at God than to torture, dismember, draw the blood of children and cause them pain? It is very close to the heart of God. And I am thankful that finally, Kathy O'Brien's been at this 30 something years. I've been out at this 21 years. More and more people are standing up and saying, hey, this has to end. And I really, my heart's desire is to see the church truly embrace these children, truly come alongside them, because it is very, it's very much re-victimization to be told over and over by people that represent Jesus that you're not believed. And I'm not putting down the church, and I'm not angry with the church. I know it's because of fear and their own wounds, but I just really pray that that will change, and I am seeing it start to change. I'm very, very grateful for that.
What percentage? Okay, so going back to Epstein, it seems like obviously he was sick and twisted, I'm sure, but it seemed like he was a tool for the Illuminati, New World Order, the globalists, whatever name you want to put on these different groups of people that work together to control everything, that are Satanists, that he was used to have leverage over a lot of the politicians and people in power. That's from my own research. That's what makes a lot of sense, where from what I understand is basically evil people seek positions of power a lot more than good people, for one, but also they can take a good person, and if they're not willing to, it might be just like, having you come to a party doing some drugs, and next thing you know, you sleep with a 16-year-old, and then they've got that over you. But if you're not willing to give them something, and sometimes knowingly, they will give that leverage to them because they are so power hungry and they're evil that they're okay following orders and doing evil things. But then I think there's good people, or people that aren't necessarily evil, that have where they can force you to do things at gunpoint or threaten your family and stuff like that, to where they've got videotapes and things like that basically could show you doing really, really bad things. What it seems to me that a lot of the politicians probably have some blackmail going on. I see a lot of, you can watch C-SPAN, and there is definitely some really good people, I believe, that are genuine, but a lot of it seems like acting to me on the Republican and the Democrat side. So I'm just wondering, what percentage of people in government at high levels do you think are in that position of being blackmailed?
Well, I would say it's a pretty high percentage, to be honest, because the deep state has been in control, and really pretty much in every presidency, that I know of, other than Trump. So I would definitely say a very high percentage. I like you said, I think there might be people that didn't know what was going on, and when they saw that, they got out of it and didn't participate. But there's a lot that knew exactly what they were doing, that wanted to do it, and it didn't do it out of coercion or anything like that, but because they were completely evil. They have cameras everywhere, all the time, literally all the time, everywhere. So they have all that. Now, whether it was destroyed, was taken and destroyed, I don't know. But, my prayer is that, they're not perfect, so maybe they made a mistake, and something is still out there that proves the reality of what was going on for decades and decades.
What's the name of your book, and where do people find that? Because I'm definitely going to buy a copy.
Thank you. It's called To Tell the Truth, and it's on Amazon. It's To Tell the Truth, and then, my name is Hope Beryl-Green, so you can definitely get it there.
Okay, and do you name names in that book? Or is that kind of like a hard thing to do?
Well, in most of my podcasts, if you go to my website, hopeberyl-green.com.
How do you spell that?
It's Hope, Hope, Beryl, Beryl, Green, Green.
Okay. And you were saying if you go there and on the podcasts.
Yeah, if you go there, I have a whole list of podcasts that goes into the details and, the details and the names of who have done what in great detail. In the book, I wasn't in a place to where I could tell all of the names. You could kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
But it does go into great detail about the programming, and specifically into the mind control that this country has been under deliberately by the Illuminati through food and Hollywood and all the different things that they have done to try to cover up what they do.
There's a reason they call it programming.
Absolutely.
I don't have a TV at my house. My big screen is a 13-inch computer, and I can't say we don't ever. Me and my son have been watching some fishing stuff. He's really into fishing right now. He's into basketball. We watch some stuff on basketball, and every once in a while we'll watch like an older movie or something, but not a whole lot of it. Even you go back, I mean, the programming's been around so long, and it's once you know what it is, I don't think it can affect you the same as if you're buying into it. But yeah, I mean, it's the schools, it's the media, it's the movies, it's entertainment. I mean, it's crazy. And they've got you looking every which way. I mean, like in the media, like some little stupid thing ends up being like headlines everywhere, and it doesn't matter whether it's Fox or MSNBC, they're all talking about the same stuff. They're never going to talk about the elephant in the room.
Exactly. They're there to numb people down. I mean, they specifically ask demons to put trances on people and to cover up the things that they do. So it's deliberate, it's demonic. And I just want people to be aware so they can fight against that and begin to wake up and really see the truth about what's going on around them.
Awesome. Do you have any advice for people that maybe they really want to get in the fight? Maybe they haven't had the same calling that some other people like yourself have had from God. And I mean, I don't think I am a true believer in Jesus, in Yahweh, Yeshua. I mean, I think that people that don't believe in God can get involved in the fight too. And I just think that, do you have any advice for people, what they can do to get involved if they haven't had their own calling yet and they don't know what to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So my main thing really is, you're seeing all of the children that are getting rescued now. Well, where are they going to go? Normally they get put back into the system, which honestly, what happens is they go right back into trafficking because it's a very corrupt system. And it's extremely sad that that's the case. So you can get involved. I mean, Piece of Heaven is a excellent example of where to get involved. I mean, $1 a day would help support a child, make sure they have a safe place, they're loved on, they're cared for, that they really heal, and they don't go back into the same situation that they were in, the hell that they were going through before. I think that, and really, how would you treat, what extent would you go to rescue somebody that was closest to you? What is the lengths that you would go to? What would you do? You really have to ask yourself, because it could be your child, it could be your wife, or it could be your son. It could be someone that you love so much, because that's a reality of sex slavery in this country today. So really think about, if you're not a believer in Jesus, I mean, think about the love that you have for your child and what you would do, and then really go from there. There's many anti-trafficking organizations, people that you can minister to, love on, maybe provide a safe place or a blanket, or like when I got free, the Christian couple that helped me, I mean, they gave me a job, they gave me a place to live, they gave me a car, food. I mean, every single basic need was important. So anything you do is important.
That's awesome. And how is there a website up for that, for Piece of Heaven?
Yeah, I believe it's peaceofheaven.life, LIFE.
Mm-hmm. And so we'll put a link to that in the headline of this podcast so people can easily find that. And is there anything else you want to cover on this?
I just want to encourage people that there is there is hope. The Lord changed my name to Hope because He knew I needed hope, confident expectation for good in the midst of all of the healing. It's very painful to go through. But I just want to encourage people to know, a lot of times people think, well, what's the point? This is too big for me. This is too much for me. Well, I'm living proof that it's not too much, that there is hope if we all unite and do our part. The Lord will do His part. So
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Well, I think we're kind of getting to the end of this interview, and I think we'll follow up and maybe do another one in the future. And I'd love to have you back on, and we could cover some more stuff. And I'm getting a calling right now to where I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you want to end this with a prayer? Can you lead a short one with? I'm getting this. I just feel like it needs to happen.
That. Yes, I love that.
All right.
So, Lord, I just thank you. Honest Jesus, you always tell the truth. You always do what's best for us. So, Lord, your heart is to rescue these children. But we are your hands and feet, Lord. So, every person listen to this, give your yes, say yes to what the Lord wants you to do. Say yes to the love you feel in your heart towards the people that are closest to you, and think of what you would do for them, and take a step to help these children. No one else is going to do it. Thank you, Lord. You showed me that, when I got free, I was like, why did it take 31 years? And you said it was because you asked thousands of people and no one said yes until that couple said yes to help me. So thank you for those, Lord, that say yes. Thank you for all the survivors and victims that are listening. I pray, Lord, that you would minister to them, show them that they are worth being free, that you love them beyond anything they could ever imagine. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. God bless you, and God bless what you're doing. If you're watching this, one thing you can really do to help is just get this message out. It's not how many people you reach, it's about reaching the right people. And even if this reaches one person that gets involved, and maybe they can influence 10 people that influence 10 people. So if you can share this, that's the only way we can get this stuff out, because we don't have any advertising funds or anything like that. So just please share this to get the good word out. And God bless you. Hope Beryl-Green, go and buy her book. What's the name of your book again?
To Tell the Truth.
To Tell the Truth. And Piece of Heaven, that's one place you can go to get involved in the fight. $1 a day, like you said. If 1,000 people donate $1 a day, that's 30,000 a month right there, or around that. I guess every month isn't 30 days, but around there. All right. Yeah. God bless you, and have a great rest of your day. And thank you so much for what you do. And thanks for coming on.